Alrighty, welcome back everybody. Alright, so we're going to talk about switch port security real quick, 10 minutes or less. Alright, so when you're doing switch port security is because you want to limit the amount of MAC addresses per port. As you can see right here, we have switch port security violations. You need to understand this for your certification, okay? You have protect, restrict, and shut down. What I highlighted is what you need to pay attention to. So if you're doing a violation, excuse me, if you're doing a violation, then you're putting to protect, it says unknown source MAC addresses are dropped, okay? You are not notified that a security violation has occurred. You just can't gain access to the network, okay? So it will drop the packet, you just don't gain access to it. All right, restrict, okay? So unknown source addresses are dropped, and an SNMP trap is sent, a syslog message is logged, and the violation counter is incremented. This is important for your certification. You need to know this, okay? And now here, shut down an interface, which is what Cisco wants for you to shut down. The interface will shut down, but the actual error is ERR disable, ERR disable. All right, and this is the default mode. Not default mode. There is no default mode. You gotta configure it. All right, but you will configure ERR disable. But know the difference between three. I also added a little table here. All right, so the green column, right? The violation counter increments. You need to know that. So as you go through the table, you can see that who sends an SMP trap? Restrict and sends a syslog? Restrict. Not protect, not shut down. I didn't even know that there was a shutdown VLAN, but now you do. All right, so, and the violation counter increments restrict, shut down, and the last one, right? They're not going to ask you about shutdown VLAN, but at least you got this. So pay attention to this document, okay, and this table as far as who sends an SNMP trap, who creates a syslog message, and the violation counter increment. It's important to the certification. Lots of multiple choice questions when it comes to that. So what are we going to do? Let's configure it. So we got here 4 PCs, one on port 1, port 2, port 3, and port 4. So let's configure it. Okay, it's very simple. It's not a big deal. Again, this is to limit the amount of MAC addresses per port. Now, there's a reason why I chose port 15 and 16. Okay, so I'm going to come up here. I'm going to do int range F0/1 -14. Switch port mode, you just can't do port hyphen, I'm sorry. So you can't just do switch port security. You can't just do that. You're going to get an error message. No, I don't think so. All right, so you got to turn it into an access port. Switch port mode access, then you turn it on, even though apparently they want you to do this last. Why? Okay, switch port mode security, up arrow, you're going to do MAC sticky, tab is your friend, and just type enough of the command. All right, you need to be quick when you're doing these things. MAC sticky, I want a maximum of 1, and then here we go to the violations. So we do viol, and we want to do shut. That is what Cisco wants. How do you look at this? Show port security. Okay, there's your little table. All right, and you want to know the status of a friggin' port. Show IP in brief. Okay, you can also do show. You can do show IP in brief. There's no IP addresses, so you're not going to see anything. All right, there's no IP addresses, but you can see if it's down or up or whatever the case may be. As you can see here, right? Those are up, the rest are down, and 1 and 2. This is the status. Okay, or you can do show interface. Let's say F0/15 switch port, but that's looking for, you know, if you want, hey, is it an access port? Is it a trunk port? Things of that nature. All right, so let's go ahead and let's just ping so we can get into the MAC address table, right? So we're going to ping 192.168.1.2. Yes, we're in the 192.168 network. Awesome. 3. Awesome. Up arrow and 4. Awesome. So now we should be in the MAC address table. So let's take a look at that, shall we? Let's expand this a little bit. All right, Control C, show MAC address table. There it is. You can see that these are dynamic. Everything is learned dynamically, but Mac Sticky puts it in there as a static entry, which will only be removed when you tell it to. All right, these are learned dynamic. How long does it stay in the MAC address table? 300 seconds or 5 minutes. All right. So what happens if I decide to say, hey, I'm going to, let me show you something else before I do that. So one of the other commands that you need to be aware of, because showing the MAC address table shows you everything. What about show MAC address table, let's say sticky, not sticky, secure, genius, or static, sorry, static. It shows you just the static. Know that command. And the reverse of that would be dynamic. So that way you know which port is in under what. I mean, you can see it there, show MAC address table. You have 1,000 nodes within within all these ports. Then you can go ahead and type specifically what you want. All right. So let's see that ERR disable, shall we? So we're going to delete this connection. All right, and we're going to put this PC to the side. That port already knows that a particular MAC address. So I'm going to bring in a different computer. We'll rename it, attacker, whatever. Let's be nice about it. Okay, and we'll give him the exact same IP address. I believe it was 192.168.1.2. Not that it matters because everything is based on MAC addresses. Okay, and then we're going to plug it in to port 2. 500, to port 2. We fast forward through time. Let me try and ping. All right, because that should turn red. All right, and then we're going to do ping 192.168.1.1, and it turns red, right? So once it turns red, what does that mean? You come in here, okay? You can see it says change state to down, all right, administratively down. So let's go into that interface, show interface F0/2, and we have the ERR disabled. This is going to be on your test. Make sure you know this, okay? So how do you get rid of that? Config T, and pay attention. Interface F0/2, shut, goes from ERR disable to administratively down, and then no shut brings it back up. Now, obviously, you don't want this attacker here, so you get rid of it, delete, put the real PC back in there. Okay, port 2. All right, I'm going to come up here. Let's look at show port security. Up arrow, I'm up arrowing through. There we go. And then let's open it up. So you see the violation got erased. It's the packet tracer. Normally you can go ahead and do clear. And there you see your port security right there. And you can clear all, clear dynamic, clear sticky, what have you. Okay, and you can see that here on port 1 and port 2, it already has that count of that MAC address. That's switch port security in a nutshell. You need to know the differences between the violations, okay? So especially when it comes to who sends the SNMP trap, who sends the syslog, okay? And who increments the violation counter, all right? And these are the 3 modes that are there. So pay attention to this Word document, pay attention to the configuration of switch port security, all right? Which is very, very simple. And its purpose, which is to limit the amount of MAC addresses per port. Cool? See you in the next one.